So, thank you for joining us on another video here on the Wiseworks
Yep.
Entertainment channel. This is a show where me and my brother talk to each other about topics and things and what's nots. Um, Josh was wearing a green and blue shirt that's plaid.
Yes, I am. Why is that a big thing?
I don't know. I just noticed it. It looks nice. I want it. Um, you're also wearing a hat. Your
I
hair's
am.
growing in.
It
You're
is.
not. You're not as bald as you used to be. Um, you've had a pretty dramatic hairdo since we started the show. You started with long hair. You've worked your way to a skinhead.
I have.
And then,
Someone told me. Someone told me as a joke. They said you should just keep going from hairdo to hairdo as like a
mhm.
joke type thing. Just keep it going. And I'm like, what's next then? Full
um,
blonde.
colors. I guess it's colors is next, or you
Full
could grow it
blonde.
out long again and get dreads, or shave like
Maybe.
shave like the side of your head or something.
What if I did like crazy on one side and crack daddy on the other?
All right, so I'm gonna tell you my experience with something that's
Yes.
very intense work.
Well, before you do this, we're talking about. We wanted to talk about more of our time in Boy Scouts.
Yeah.
Something that is very real that people. Hollywood has made stories about this, and for entertainment purpose, and talked and said very false things about it. But something in our time with Boy Scouts happened, and it's very real and very, very scary.
Yeah. So we're gonna tell our two separate stories with this ordeal. I'm gonna start.
Yeah, because it happened to
Um,
both of us.
it happened to both of us, and it happens to most people when they're going on camping trips and whatnot.
Yeah,
Especially
starting
in
in
Boy
the.
Scouts, because it's a ritual. When I was on my very first camping trip in Boy Scouts,
Mm-hmm.
my scoutmaster and a couple people who were a bit older, it was evening. Well, it was before evening got around, and they said that we were in a swamp. It was Congaree Swamp in Columbia, South Carolina area, and we were camping there. It was my very first camping trip. It was a hiking trip. We were going to go hiking the next day, and so we were camping out on the campgrounds. And they said that we're in a swamp, and so you have to keep an eye out for snakes. You have to keep an eye out when we're hiking for like wild pigs, and you got to keep an eye out for
Yeah.
like alligators and stuff when we're at the swamp area, like the little river. And so it was pretty intense work. There's a lot of animals, and they said there is like one animal that's indigenous to that area, or it's like
Mm-hmm.
habitated in that area. Um, that they're night animals, and so they're not super harmful, but it is intense work to like try to explore and try to find them and whatnot. And so they decided that it would be a good idea if we like made an excursion out of it, and like try to see if we could hunt for them.
Yeah. At least just like take a peek at them if
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can't catch one.
Yeah, so at least so we can see them, because they said they look really cool, but also like creepy and whatnot. And so they did say like similar to like dogs, similar to cats and stuff, they have eyes that reflect light. So if you have a flashlight, you can shine them in, kind of like you do with frogs, or when you're hunting for alligators, you can shine
Yeah.
them through the forest, and you can spot them because their eyes shine, and they have like a sort of a reddish glow to them. So you can kind of guess maybe that might be one if you see it. But they're like owls. They're out at night, and so you have to try to find one. So maybe you can see one, through, you could see its eyes or something, if it's out and about, or you might actually be able to see like the body and what of one. They're very skittish, and so they'll run away pretty fast. So they said that apparently it's kind of like a deer in the headlight situation, or there's other animals that when you do shine in the light, they don't know what it is, and so they kind of freeze. So they said that if they freeze, in theory, if there's somebody close to it, you could like bag it and whatnot if you have a relatively good sized bag. And so we decided, okay, we're going to go out at night and we're going to go try to see if we can bag hunt these animals, or at least see one, you know?
Yeah.
Because they said it's cool. And so we went out, and me and my friend Tim, Tim wasn't there. It was somebody else. I'm thinking of maybe
I think it was like Austin.
No, I'm thinking it was like Austin and Daniel.
Yeah.
It was we
were
all joined
older.
Boy
We
Scouts
hadn't-
at the same time. And
Yeah,
so we
I
were
didn't start the
this
whole-
is all
the
our
troop
first
yet.
camp out. Joshua wasn't in at this point. And so we went out hunting for these animals, and they were like bird-like, apparently. They were kind of like birds.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a type of bird. They're not bird-like. They are a bird.
Yeah, it's a type of
so-
bird, but it's like grounded, like can't fly.
Yeah.
Kind of like a chicken or a turkey.
Mhm.
And so we went out hunting at night. We had our flashlights, and we were walking around in the forest at night in this swamp area. It was dark, it was creepy, it was intense, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, we were having a great time. And then we started like hearing these crunching sounds on the ground that it felt light, like something like not a full body. It felt like I heard something that was like light-footed, pretty much. And we're like, it could be anything. Maybe it's
like a squirrel or something.
yeah, like a squirrel or something. But we're like,
Or
we're not going to
rabbits
miss
or
an
anything.
opportunity. We're going to shine a light on this puppy, and we're going to try to see if we can
I mean, it
bag
wasn't
it.
a puppy. Don't
Whatever
say
it is.
puppy.
It's not a dog.
puppy.
Not a dog. So we were like, there was this embankment, and there's like this little small ditch with water in it, and we were hiding behind this embankment, and beyond the embankment, there's like just a flat land of just pine trees. It looked like something out of Lord of the Rings, just for miles, just pine trees in the distance and flat land. So we like peer over the embank without the light on because we don't want to shine the light yet. We don't want to scare it off. We're trying to be real quiet because we want to just shine the light on it to try to get the element of surprise so it'll freeze. And we're like, our hearts are pounding. We're ready to try to see if we can, see one of these things, if this is one of them. And we're like, all right, we're going to do this. We like count to 3, and we jump up and we shine a light, and we see off in the distance these 2 red lights in our direction, way off in the distance. And we're like, I don't know if we're close enough that this is a possibility to catch one, but I think it's right there. I think we're seeing one right now. And we start like kind of jogging towards it, trying to keep the light on it. And then all of a sudden the lights go out, and we can't, all of a sudden I was like, all right, well, it could still be around here. It might not have run off. And we're like looking around and we can't find it. And I was like, I swear I heard it. I saw it. I saw its eyes with my own eyes. It was awesome. I didn't see it, but it was lower to the ground. It wasn't super tall. And you're like, man, I think we saw one. So we run back to the campsite. We tell our scoutmasters around the fire, hey, we saw one. We heard it walking around. We, I don't know, we might have even heard it make some sounds like audibly. And so we saw its eyes. We saw that there was like the red reflection. We saw it. It was out there. You're not going to believe it. We freaking found one, It was very exciting, very thrilling.
But you didn't catch anything.
We didn't catch any. You went on this hunt later when you got in Boy Scouts.
Yeah, but before I talk about that, there was you went, so I heard about it before I went into Boy Scouts because of you. You came home, you told us about it and everything, and so I was looking forward to it. I'm like, my first camp out, man. Next time we go back to Congaree, because we went there pretty frequently.
It was a good trip.
Yeah, and I was like, man, if he didn't catch one, I'm gonna catch one. So, but something that I want to bring up, we would do. We had, I remember when we would go camping, every time if we like brought some food or anything, if we were hiking it in, they would always tell us to tie up our food. You know, you tie it, throw it up in a tree and tie it up. So bears
food's
wouldn't
not
get
on the
it, so
ground.
animals wouldn't get it. It's just so things couldn't get to our food because they've had raccoons get to food before, and just like shred up all the food and eat it. So they had not have any food. But so we would do that, like not wanting. You know, that's another thing we can't have any animals come in and get our food too. So that was another thing that we would do to kind of protect from these animals coming into our camp too.
And to also keep animals out of our tents.
Yeah.
Because they
So-
would come in if they could smell it.
Yeah. And so, okay, I heard about this story about this type of bird that they were trying to catch. So I started and I'm like, I'm going to catch one. Okay. We went back to Congress, and you were there because we were in the kind of the same time. You just joined before me. So I guess I don't know if you went trying to find one with us, but I'm like, I'm going to find this because you couldn't catch one. We were going to find this. And at this point I was with Tim, because he joined the troop about the same time I did. And then our friend Seth too. We all went out and we're like, we're going to find this bird. We're going to catch it. So there was a few more of us, because this was kind of the beginning of the year, and we had a lot more newer, younger scouts that came in that were going to go hunting for it with us, that were excited. And so there was more of us, so there's like, you know, more of a chance we could surround, and we could, if they try to run off in one direction, we can, someone else will be ready for them that way. So we all kind of went out one night, and I remember everybody, you know, the flashlight thing again, we're shining flashlights looking for them, and we were out there for 20, 30 minutes, and we're not seeing anything. And then like we're like, oh man, we're not, there's nothing. We didn't find it. We came up kind of at a dead end, and after a while we're just like, oh man, we're just not seeing it. So we didn't catch any either, but so we just had to go back. I never even got to see one, but going back and finding this, not being able to find this this bird type animal that I've just heard so much about and wanting to catch because you couldn't. It was a little disappointing I couldn't see one when you were like 90% sure you saw one in the distance. Was kind of disappointing, but the fact that like I went out there, had my chance, but never got to find it. So the bird, do you want to tell them what we were trying to catch?
Yeah.
It kind of has an odd name. It's
called a snipe,
a snipe, yes.
which is a weird name.
Yeah, and the Hollywood, like especially on Up, they try to portray it as this tall, colorful bird, but that's not it. That's not it. It's more darker colored,
like gray,
short, about a foot from the ground. It runs really fast, and it has red glowing eyes. So we could never, both of us, we couldn't catch one, but that was one thing being in Scouts that we never got to experience of catching one of these birds. But that was the experience we had. And if you're ever interested and you're down going to Congaree Swamp in South Carolina, I would recommend, that's a big thing, try to go see a snipe. Because I've heard, I never got to see one, but I've heard that they are very cool and very dangerous, but very cool, and you want to see them someday. So, do you have any final words, I guess, to add on to that story?
Yeah, I mean, don't get discouraged. Keep it up. If you can't find one, just keep trying. I mean, I would recommend probably trying to camp and find one until
Yeah.
you do. You know, just keep going out, practice, and eventually you might catch one. You'll be able to post it
Yeah.
on social media and say, "Hey, you caught a snipe." You know.
So if you've ever caught one before, I mean, maybe you've heard of these before. So people know about them for a while now. So
Yeah.
if you've ever caught one, let us know in the comments, or
Yeah.
if you've taken a picture of it, that would be miraculous. But
Yeah. It would be
show
miraculous.
us a picture. Yeah,
I would love to see one in well, I'd love to see what they look like not at night.
So let us know if you've ever caught one, and I would very much recommend trying to go snipe hunting at least once in your life.
Yeah. It's a good time.
Yeah. So
All right.
if you like this video, go and subscribe to the channel for
If you don't like
any
this
more
video,
videos. Yeah.
subscribe to it anyway, because
Yeah.
there might be at least one on the channel that's worth subscribing to us for.
Yep.
And
So-
we hope that you enjoyed it, and we hope that you stay engaged, and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Yes.